Alright, so, okay, the next topic I'd like to talk about in Kamen Rider nya is, tokusatsu in general, okay nya, is what I call blind maturity. Is nya. Alright, so, let's be honest nya, like 99.9999% of the tokusatsus these days nya, to begin with nya, is to sell toys. Okay, nya, Kamen Rider to sell the belts, to sell the cards. Super Sentai to sell their mechas and all nya. So, we all know that tokusatsu is generally a kids show nya. Of course, there are some outliers out there nya, like Godzilla. I think Godzilla is there to sell the movie more than selling the toys nya. Okay. Yeah, Garo as well nya, another outlier. Okay. There has been this trend of, like, you know, I want to make a more mature tokusatsu show. Yes, yeah. Hey, for example, there has been like this shift to try to make more mature stuff, you know, like Futo Tante, the Kamen Rider double anime, yeah. It's definitely shifting more towards a mature audience, yeah. We've got something like Kamen Rider Amazons, okay, yeah. They try to move to a more mature audience. Kamen Rider Black Sun, yes, yeah. We've got Garo, which is definitely a mature audience target, yeah. And we've got the Godzilla series, which is also a mature audience target, yeah. Alright, however, I'd like to talk about, like, you know, blind maturity, yeah. Like, I think there's a very, very huge difference between, you know, making a show mature in terms of the concepts, in terms of the discussions, yeah. I think a very good comparison is if you're gonna take Amazons versus Black Sun, yeah. Both are trying to talk very deep topics. Okay, and both are trying to talk very deep, rooted societal topics, yeah. Alright, however, you know, in Amazons, it's all about, oh, I want to show all the gore. Blah. The more blood there is, the more violent it is, the more mature it is, yeah. I don't know. It's like violence equals to maturity, yeah. Whereas when you look at, like, you know, Black Sun, yes, it was violent. But it's not just the violence that is what's making it mature, yeah. It's a lot about the topics discussed, yeah, the moral compass inside the show, yeah. I think it's what leads, you know, a show to be mature, yeah. Whereas, you know, Amazon started good. Eventually, it's just about how much blood can I cause, yeah. And this kind of blind maturity, I think it kind of damages. I would say it damages, yeah, it just... It feels stale. You see, I know it's not like, you know, a very common thing where there's like, you know, every series is releasing as a blind mature series, yeah. But I feel like as this very ugly concept was like, oh, because it's violent, it's for mature audience, yeah. I feel like this is not the only thing that is like seeping into. I do see it seeping into Toku a bit, yeah. You know, when they say, oh, why is Garo for a more mature audience, yeah? Oh, because Garo has nudity. Because Garo is violent, yeah. You know, yes, I understand that Garo can be more fan service, artistic nudity, yeah. Like Garo has more you know, violent fight scenes here, but this itself is not what makes the show mature, yeah. It's like a very, very slapstick maturity on how people see things, yeah. And I think it really, really devalues a lot of mature shows here. Like, you know, when we talk about Black Science, all about the violence. Yeah. It's something like, you know, when we talk about Black Science about violence, you know, we talk about Garo, it's like, oh, there's like, you know, they talk about more sexual stuff in a way, yeah. I don't know how else to put it, yeah. But yeah, you know, they start to say things like this, yeah, but it's mature starting to be ends up missing the point a lot of times, yeah, because it's mature not because of these things, but it's mature because of the topics, because of a moral compass that they discuss, yeah. And this is something that I feel is kinda missing. In one sense, yeah, a good example of blind maturity in this sense is actually the Vice movie, yeah. They try to make the whole Kamen Rider Vice Paradise Regain to be a bit more targeting a mature audience. Of course, it's targeting a mature audience, yeah, because you have like people who watch Vice when they're when they're still studying for exams, yeah. And now we are all working adults, yeah. You know, that's the kind of target audience you're going for, yeah. But at the same time, you know, I feel there are more mature topics that can be discussed. As is, oh, we just want to show more violence, yeah. I just want to show sexy time, yeah, and this is why it's a more mature target audience, yeah. It feels really forced. I don't want to forget what I mean, yeah, but that kind of like the maturity feels really forced, yeah, like. I try to make it feel mature. The point is starts to feel immature, yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, yeah. And then everybody completely misses the point, yeah, because the immature maturity becomes the selling point instead of the real topics and real deep discussions being discussed, yeah. So that's what I personally feel when it comes to like, you know, blind maturity in tokusatsu, yeah. And I think it's very, very apparent because they are like always saying Toku is for kids, yeah, but we have like some topics, some series meant for adults, and the adult side feels weak. Sometimes because, you know, making it more mature doesn't really make it like, you know, it misses the point. Yes, yeah. Violence is not maturity, yeah. I think that's a summary of what I'm trying to say, yeah.